Made this video with the purpose of encouraging new aspiring players by trying to find some relation in my own journey. So 1 month prior to Devil May Cry 5 release, I'd spent time trying to learn Devil May Cry 4 Nero tutorials from Tasertech. It took me about 70 hours to get down everything and apply it into a playstyle. It was a good foundation that made Devil May Cry 5 very easy to grasp, but looking at my gameplay here, I still had a lot of ways to go. This is our Koba Wolf first style tournament number 1. I remember seeing the Kino drops Kinogami-san will put out in Twitter back then. This is why I started with GP01. I trained the whole month for the small amount of clips I got for the event. I made sure not to keep any clips till the last 3 days. I believe that it's best to be at your best form before a player records traditional clips, so I crunched the last 3 days. I felt like there was a lot of pressure because I'd have to compete with good players, and I also didn't want to bore the audience. It is good to note that my gameplay, even from the start, was trying to emphasize on mobility. Fast forward today, it still sticks to the idea of my OCW freestyle tournament entry. After the tournament, I kept practicing, still using camera keyboard with my feet. Not a lot have changed, I was just practicing. I remember not being able to see SJC back then. I didn't have the technique at APM to even micro caliber probably. I am sure of when I made this hand video. It must have been before SBA. I've been always experimenting with my grip and button layout back then. I think I got my definitive layout after Project Style. I've probably changed layout 8 times so far. Also, I consider it good practice to make Hans videos. You can keep track of your gameplay level just by looking at Hans videos in the past. OCW Freestyle Tournament 2 came out pretty fast. I was burned out back then. But thanks to White Line, I was able to learn a neat trick, which is caliber bounce. It was a tool that impressed a lot of players. Even if its technique is easy, it's possibly what granted me victory along with the music choice. Although Mills was a great opponent that encouraged me to try my best, I still took a big break because I kept training for a lot of time now. Funny, as the deadline approached, I pulled off some all-nighters. I couldn't accept that I'd let down Mills. I got gameplay worthy for the freestyle tournament. Whirling was mechanically superior to both of us. And Mills lost his video, so he had to make a new one in 1 to 3 hours. This is not enough at all for a freestyle tournament video. I should have been in 3rd place in my opinion, but the misfortune of Mills, combined with me being a fresh Nero player, tipped the scales to my favor. It's due to this that I accept what D.H. Mali said about gameplay, to quote, "Everything is subjective in DMC," end quote, but with a twist. Subjective is they determine the viewer's experience, not the level of the player. Mills and Whirling were better players than me. With the tournament finished, I went back to training. I tried to learn stuff from Kinogami-san, but it was impossible because of no slow-mo, which I wasn't aware at the time. Project Style came around. I was burned out back then, so my clips in this event were low effort at best. The changes in gameplay are noticeable though. There's quick reactions, DJ Kino drops, and overall freestyle awareness. The gameplay I was working towards too wasn't fleshed out in this event, mostly in the coming event, Pride, but even there I didn't try my best. By the way, the first usages of DB Switcher for me were traced here. Short after, I made a second Hans video. While I was using DBS patterns, I was still clinky to GP01. I also had removed the prosthetics on the analogs to ensure better control on caliber. Around December, Pride happened. A lot of work in progress gameplay which will be the foundation for my future DB Switcher gameplay. I tried beating stage 93 for a second time this year while trying to not touch the floor and while being stylish at it. I still haven't made it, but now I'm confident that not only I can fulfill both of these targets, but also pay my respect appropriately. My reactions were on top condition ever since with DT, and even Snaps recovers to console whenever Nero got hit. I had quit Devil May Cry 5 prior to Pride, and later I kind of tried my PC for play too much Devil May Cry, but I'd return short after with lots of motivation. I kept chasing what my playstyle should look like. I never had the taste of it. It was a really big motivator to execute what would be my end goal of Nero. January 1st of 2020, 6 months after I first played Devil May Cry 5, I started playing bi-weekly again, improving on a good pace. There will be only Twitter videos from now on, so the quality will be bad. Also the timeline is vague, so I won't be able to tell what I improved on and what's going on. I'll never put as much time as I did on the first 6 months of Devil May Cry 5. I'm constantly burned out at this point, but I still like to play this game. Here I was working on a video for Dodo's birthday. It's just a good highlight. This is more small effort gameplay for today me, but for old me it was kind of big. Still in good form, more practice. Guess I was trying to make a good highlight for Crossroads. A highlight from Crossroads. This is a pure freestyle moment. It felt so big to pull this off. Around March, I started experimenting with BA, height gain. This is my APM prime. I don't think I am any faster today. It took me so many months to bring to life the focus of my gameplay. Quick strings of calibers and DB switches. I was always aware of what I liked about Devil May Cry 5, but I was unable to execute it. Nowadays I'm trying to find out what would be for my Dante. Also worth to mention, I'm winging out this gameplay here. I wasn't able to execute this gameplay on purpose back then. Short after, I trained and owned this gameplay. My purpose was to emulate the combo I made back in January, but my hard technique was still not ready for it. I had lots of fun being able to execute hard techniques back then. It made me wonder if Taylor sets and feels like this whenever he plays. What mostly changed here is that I lay the controller on a pedestal. I was facing the possibility of quitting Devil May Cry 5 due to my handheld. I had a talk with an old friend back then. She said, even power metal guitarists adapt their technique. If you hurt, it's cause of your technique is flawed. I didn't believe her at first. Devil May Cry players suffer from playing. There was no way to solve this. Until I encountered the video of Nino, I was blown out by his clean and fast technique. I tried replicating it by not putting pressure on my hands. Worlds Collide is coming up. I was on tip to condition, I gave small effort and average effort for Worlds Collide. I asked Widow and Aizuma, the current best Devil May Cry 5 players when it comes to freestyle, and Devil is Motive, a rising Devil May Cry 4 player, to play with me. I was very demanding, and for good purpose. The video was almost a success, if only Widow tried better. Of course, still a success. It's definitely the best freestyle video of 2020, in my eyes at least, but I had more expectations for Widow. Widow is a better player than me, by any means, but that doesn't mean he could put out his best effort. During that time, I experimented a lot with environmental freestyle. Definitely wanna go back to it soon. This clip is a bit loose at spots, but I pulled off some good environmental placement still. I didn't touch Devil May Cry ever since, but I returned 1 month later because of Kyo's anniversary video. Things would be different if it wasn't for that. Noteworthy, this is when I started using X3. DMC 5 Nero has no use of X0, simply because it has no mechanics like Devil May Cry 4. It upgrades the overall APM for Nero, plus Devil Breaker switches when masking caliber, and makes crossovers much more likely to happen when done correctly. By the way, the videos will be parodies from here till the 14-minute mark, so you might wanna skip to 14 minutes if you don't wanna see them. This is where I found out that I was not at fault for Kino drops, but a mod that removes slow-mo from Devil May Cry 5. DMC5 Nero hangers are tied to the game slow-mo to stomp properly. Since then, I've been more confident to tackle Kinogami-san's combos and merge them into my gameplay. Although, I haven't made much progress on that, cause burnout is ever present. This video is quite of another time skip. This time around it shows kind of the new direction I'm taking with Nero DT and X3, but there's nothing more to showcase. I have to say that I stopped evolving as fast as I did around this point. Nowadays I practice for consistency over fresh new stuff. Here is where I started to learn how to play against the hitbox of Riots. I kind of was lazy to learn a new enemy. This is around the time I started gathering clips for both my combo mount and freestyle mount, still work in progress to this day. In the next month I worked on my freestyle mount clips and combos, and went back to tackle the hardest DB switcher sequence I ever made. But sadly, due to the nature of this combo, I injured my right hand, and I still haven't recovered. I'm playing Dante as a means of having a break right now. I'll put out a video after this one that is called Suicide by Star. It showcases that I can almost replicate the combo. I think it's impossible to do it on purpose, but I'm still happy that I can execute 90% of it on will. This one was during the days I was practicing some Kinogami tomboy sequences, and there happened to be a new Godzilla song, so I thought I should make just a little video about it. Kinogami-san has showcased what is the skill ceiling of Nero ever since the first months. He's truly ahead of his time. My playstyle will hit a lot of walls if I never counter him. Okay, this is the end of the video. It marks down about 600 to 700 hours of just solely playing for stylish gameplay and whatever project I had for gameplay purposes. Yeah, that's about it. See ya.